It's Hainsey's right ankle that's wrapped. He came up like he was testing his left leg, but it's the right one that was injured. Again, this is from Greg Auman, per The Athletic. Again, looks fine, walking around and talking with teammates on the sideline. Hainsey is hanging out on the Bucs sideline, his ankle's wrapped, but he's putting weight on it as normal. They wouldn't let him do that if this were anything serious. So it looks like Robert Hainsey is gonna be okay, folks. It seems like it's not too big of a deal. In my opinion, if I were the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I would still add a veteran offensive lineman. And you're going to wait and see what happens with cuts around the league. Whatever happens in those situations, what other teams decide to release veteran offensive linemen, you bet your bottom dollar the Buccaneers may be interested in some way, shape, or form. Because this isn't the first time Hainsey's gone down with an injury that has worried a lot of Bucs fans. It happened in training camp. It's happened in now this Colts game. There have been times where, yeah, Hainsey's gone down with some nagging injuries that have had people worried, so maybe you do want to get a veteran insurance option in there. You know, Robert Hainsey, you know, that's just something worth paying attention to. When's Jensen coming back? The expectation is that if he comes back at all, it'll come back later in the year. I mean, very later in the year, a deep playoff run. So that's a legitimate question, man. Or a legitimate thing I think that should be considered by the Bucs is adding a veteran offensive lineman, preferably a center, who can be there just in case, right? And there's some options out there. We talked about some of those guys. Josh Andrews, Matt Paradis is out there. Some other centers are out there. And you don't know what other teams are going to do in terms of their roster moves. If there's a guy that Todd Bowles is familiar with, that the offensive coaching staff is familiar with, from their histories together, maybe that's something they consider that I think should be considered, just in case. But it seems like Robert Hainsey is going to be okay. Seems like his ankle injury is not a big deal, and it seems like he's going to be good to go, but in my opinion, I still feel like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should probably take a look at maybe getting a veteran offensive lineman depending on what other teams do after their 53-man roster cuts. So that's kind of my thoughts and opinions on that.